I stood at the spa reception desk, ice in my veins, staring at the confirmation email on my phone. 2 guests. Premium couples massage, charged to my credit card. The reservation wasn't made by me. My name is Mark, and 3 months ago, I wouldn't have believed I'd be here. I was too busy coding, designing systems, living the dream of a senior software architect, too occupied to notice the small changes in Alexandra, my wife of 7 years. It started with yoga classes. "I need to de-stress," she'd said, kissing me goodbye 3 nights a week. Then it became 4 nights. 5. The classes ran later and later. "You're working so much anyway," she'd remind me whenever I questioned the schedule. She wasn't wrong. I'd been pulling 60-hour weeks, chasing a promotion. The guilt always silenced me. Then came the crystals, the meditation apps, the new friends I never met. A spiritual awakening, she called it. I called it distance. "Hey, you okay?" Neil, my best friend since college, asked over beers last week. "You seem off." "Alexandra's different," I admitted, peeling the label off my bottle. "Maybe I'm paranoid, but different how?" "Password changes, whispered phone calls. She's always texting someone named Jade about energy work and spiritual connections." Neil's pause was a fraction too long. Maybe she's just finding herself? I nodded, but something in his tone stuck with me. "Yesterday, I told Alexandra I had to fly to Seattle for an emergency client meeting." 3 days, I said. "Back Friday." She hugged me tight. "I'll miss you, but maybe it's good timing. I need to focus on my practice anyway." I drove to the airport, parked, waited 2 hours, drove home. The house was empty, silent. Alexandra's tablet sat on the coffee table, still unlocked. I never meant to snoop, but a notification caught my eye. "Your spa reservation is confirmed, Mr. Valdez." My stomach dropped. I opened the email. "Premium couples package for 2. Thursday, 2 p.m. Guest 1, Mr. Valdez. Guest 2, blank." Below it, a message thread. "Can't wait to hold you properly tomorrow. Jade." 24 hours, baby. Mark's in Seattle. It's perfect. A. My hands shook as I scrolled through more messages. Pictures, plans, charges to my accounts I never made. "The universe brought us together," Jade had written. "Your husband's just funding our destiny." I called Neil immediately. "I need to talk now." 20 minutes later, we sat in his garage. I showed him everything. "Jesus, Mark." He ran his hands through his hair. I should tell you something. Alexandra asked me to collect her mail while you're away." "What else do you know, Neil?" He wouldn't meet my eyes. "Nothing concrete, but rumors. About Jade. She's some kind of wellness guru. Has a history of getting close to clients." I pulled up my banking app. Credit card charges for crystal shops. Cash withdrawals. Spa treatments. Restaurant bills for 2. "How long?" I asked. "I don't know for sure, but Jade started teaching at Alexandra's yoga studio 3 months ago." 3 months. While I worked late, chasing promotions, my wife had been using my money to fund her escape with another woman. I stared at the spa confirmation again. Tomorrow at 2 p.m. They thought I was safely in Seattle. Oblivious. "I need help," I said finally. "Not just yours. I need to call Nancy." Neil's eyebrows shot up. "Your sister. You haven't spoken in years, I know. But she used to be a paralegal. And right now, I need someone who knows the law." Because tomorrow at 2 p.m., I would be standing at that spa reception desk, and Alexandra would learn exactly what happens when you mistake kindness for weakness. Nancy answered on the 3rd ring. "Little brother." "It's been a while. I need your help," I said, pacing Neil's garage. "Remember when you warned me about prenups?" A sharp intake of breath. What did Alexandra do? I explained everything. The spa reservation, the messages, the suspicious charges. Nancy listened without interrupting, but I could hear her typing. "Send me screenshots. Everything. And Mark? Her voice softened. I'm sorry. I know how much you loved her. Loved. Past tense. The word hit like a punch to the gut. Back home, I waited until Alexandra went to bed, then started digging. Credit card statements revealed a pattern. Charges at high-end restaurants, boutique hotels, jewelry stores, all in the past 3 months. All when I was supposedly working late. My phone buzzed. Nancy had sent a link. Look familiar? She asked when I called back. The web page showed a news article from 2 years ago. A wellness center scandal. And there was Jade, under a different name, smiling next to a wealthy client who'd donated her life savings for spiritual enlightenment. She's done this before, Nancy said. Multiple times, different cities. She finds vulnerable people, usually married, gains their trust, and bleeds them dry, I finished. Keep scrolling. More articles, more victims, more aliases. How did I miss this? I whispered. Because you trusted your wife. Nancy's voice hardened, and she weaponized that trust. The next morning, Alexandra kissed me goodbye, thinking I was heading to the airport. Have a safe flight, baby. Instead, I drove to work. My boss, Damien, cornered me immediately. The Singapore project is slipping, he said, smirking. Everything okay at home? Fine, I lied. Just need to focus. Good, because there are plenty of hungry developers who'd love your position. Back at my desk, I checked my email. Alexandra had forwarded me a bill for spiritual counseling sessions, $5,000 charged to my card. Sorry, honey, her message read. Jade's rates went up, but the enlightenment is worth it. My hands clenched. I called the credit card company. Sir, these charges were authorized, the representative said. Your wife is an approved user. And if I suspect fraud, you'd need to file a police report. Neil brought lunch to my office. You okay? I showed him the charges. They're planning to move in together, using my money as their starter nest egg. Christ. He set down his sandwich. Mark, there's something else. Last week I saw them, at that new wine bar downtown. They didn't see me, but they were definitely more than friends. How long have you known? I wasn't sure until then. I wanted to tell you, but Alexandra's your friend too. He nodded miserably. My phone buzzed. Nancy again. I found Jade's real identity, she said. And Mark? It's worse than we thought. She's got outstanding warrants in California. Previous victims lost hundreds of thousands. How much has Alexandra given her? From what I can see in your accounts, nearly 50 grand. But there might be more we can't trace. I closed my eyes, remembering Alexandra's words just last week. Money is just energy, baby. We have to let it flow freely. Flow freely into Jade's pocket, apparently. What do you need from me? Nancy asked. Everything. Bank records, witness statements from previous victims, police reports. I want it all documented before tomorrow. Already on it. And Mark? Yeah? When you confront them. Make it count. I looked at the spa reservation again. 24 hours until they walked into their perfect romantic getaway. 24 hours until they learned exactly what happens when you mistake an architect for a doormat. I called the spa, my voice steady despite my racing heart. Hi, I'm checking on a reservation for tomorrow. Under Valdez? Of course. The receptionist, Michelle, according to her cheerful greeting, pulled up the details. Premium couples massage at 2 p.m. Is there anything special you'd like us to prepare? Actually, I'm curious. My wife made the booking. Has she visited often? Michelle's tone changed slightly. Oh yes, you and your wife are regulars, though usually it's just Mrs. Valdez and her friend. They love our private spa suite. My stomach churned. Regular visits? I'd never seen those charges. One moment, Michelle said. I need to check something. Oh, it looks like some previous visits were booked under different cards. Different cards? Yes, various business accounts. Is everything okay, sir? I forced a laugh. Perfect. Just reviewing some expenses. Thank you, Michelle. Nancy called while I was still processing. Got the surveillance footage from the hotel they used last month. Want to see your wife signing your name? Send it. The video showed Alexandra at the check-in desk, confident, relaxed. Jade stood close behind her, one hand possessively on her waist. Notice the timestamp? Nancy asked. That's when you were at your company retreat. My office door opened. Damien again. The Singapore client's asking questions, he said. Your code review was sloppy. I'll fix it. See that you do. Personal problems shouldn't affect work performance. I stared at him. What personal problems? People talk, Mark. Your wife's spiritual journey is quite the topic at company events. After he left, I called Neil. How many people know? Know what? About Alexandra and Jade. Damien just implied. Neil sighed. They haven't exactly been subtle. That wine bar I mentioned? It's popular with our crowd. Jesus. I rubbed my face. I'm the last to know, aren't I? Mark, there's more. Remember that yoga retreat Alexandra went to last month? The one in Sedona? Yeah, Camila saw them there, together, in the same room. Camila, Alexandra's cousin. Even her family knew. My phone buzzed with texts from Alexandra. Missing you. Focusing on deep spiritual work with Jade today. Don't worry about dinner, having a working session. Each message felt like acid in my veins. Nancy sent more files, statements from Jade's previous victims, police reports, civil suits that were mysteriously dropped. She's got a pattern, Nancy explained. Gets close to someone with money, usually through wellness coaching. Convinces them their spouse is energetically toxic. Then the money starts flowing. And Alexandra fell for it. No, Mark. Alexandra helped plan it. Look at the email I just sent. The message was from 2 months ago. Alexandra to Jade. He's working so much, he never checks the accounts. We can easily move another 10K this week. Soon we'll have enough to start over, just us. No more hiding. My hands shook as I forwarded everything to Officer Zimmerman, the detective Nancy connected me with. This is more than infidelity, he said during our call. It's systematic fraud, identity theft. We can make a case. What do you need? Catch them in the act. Tomorrow at the spa, we'll be ready. I hung up and found another text from Alexandra. Can't wait to see you Friday. Miss you so much. I typed back. Miss you too. Focus on your spiritual work. You deserve this time. The lie tasted bitter. But tomorrow would be worth it. Tomorrow, they'd learn that karma isn't just a spiritual concept. It's also a matter of law. Officer Zimmerman spread photos across his desk. Your wife's been busy. These are from last week. The images showed Alexandra and Jade leaving various banks. My banks. She's closing accounts, I said, and opening new ones, under both your names. He tapped another photo. Forged signatures. Classic exit strategy. My throat tightened. How much? Nearly 200,000. They're planning something big. I left the police station in a daze. At home, Alexandra was in the kitchen, humming while she packed a bag. Just some healthy snacks for my meditation retreat tomorrow, she said brightly. I watched her hands steady as they folded organic protein bars into her designer tote, the one I'd bought her last month. Every movement felt like a fresh betrayal. My phone vibrated. Nancy. Don't react. Just found transfer orders. They're planning to leave the country next week. Alexandra glanced up. Everything okay, honey? Fine. Just work stuff. She kissed my cheek. You work too hard. Maybe after my retreat, we should talk about your work-life balance. After I'm gone, she meant. After the money's gone. Neil called while I was driving to meet Nancy. Mark, stop at my house. Now. He was waiting in his driveway holding mail. This came to my house by mistake. It's addressed to Alexandra. Passport renewal forms. Rush processing. There's more, Neil said. Jade's been asking about offshore accounts through my firm. Your investment firm? She didn't know I work there. Came in under a fake name, but I recognized her. She's looking to move serious money overseas. Nancy was waiting at the coffee shop with her laptop. Got into Alexandra's cloud backup. Look at this. A folder labeled Fresh Start contained apartment listings in Bali. Bank information. A new phone number. They've been planning this for months, Nancy said. The spa tomorrow? It's their celebration, their last hurrah before taking everything. My phone lit up. Alexandra again. Can't wait for your business trip to end. Miss you so much. I texted back. Almost done here. Focus on your retreat. Love you. The officers will be in position tomorrow, Zimmerman confirmed over the phone. We'll wait for them to attempt using your cards. That's when we move. That night, I heard Alexandra on the phone in our bathroom, voice low. We need to cover our tracks. No, he doesn't suspect. Yes, everything's ready. Just one more day, baby. One more day, and we're free. I lay in bed, remembering our wedding day. Her vows. I'll always be honest with you. 7 years of memories, tainted now by lies. Michelle from the spa called to confirm final details. Mrs. Valdez requested champagne in the private suite, she said, then hesitated. Sir, is everything okay? You sound... I'm fine. Just make sure everything's perfect tomorrow. Of course. And good luck. Alexandra slipped into bed, curling against me like she hadn't just planned our financial destruction. I love you, she whispered. Love you too, I replied, the words ashen in my mouth. After she fell asleep, I checked her phone. A message from Jade glowed in the darkness. Tomorrow we celebrate. Next week we disappear. He'll never know what hit him. Sweet dreams, my love. I closed my eyes, thinking of the officers waiting at the spa, of Michelle ready to signal, of Nancy and Neil standing by as witnesses. Tomorrow, Alexandra and Jade would walk into that spa thinking they'd won, thinking they'd outsmarted me. Instead, they'd learn that some betrayals can't be masked by crystals and karma. Some betrayals end in handcuffs. The spa lobby gleamed with marble and soft lighting. I stood behind the reception desk with Michelle, my heart thundering beneath my calm exterior. They're always so affectionate, Michelle whispered, adjusting her name tag. I never suspected Mrs. Valdez was... I'm so sorry. Officer Zimmerman touched his earpiece. Target vehicles just pulled into the parking lot. 2 minutes. Nancy and Neil positioned themselves in the lounge area, pretending to read magazines. 3 plainclothes officers scattered strategically around the space. My phone buzzed. Alexandra. Missing you, having the most amazing spiritual breakthrough with Jade. Everything's set, Zimmerman said. Remember, let them incriminate themselves. We need them to actively attempt fraud. Michelle's desk phone rang. Spa reception. Yes, they're arriving now. I'll prepare the champagne for the private suite. I watched the entrance, remembering Alexandra's words this morning. Have a great day at work, honey. I'll be focusing on deep meditation. The glass doors swung open. Alexandra entered first, wearing a flowing sundress I'd never seen. Jade followed, her hand possessively on Alexandra's lower back. They were laughing, lost in their own world. Ready? Zimmerman murmured. I nodded, my fingers gripping the desk. Welcome to Serenity Spa, Michelle said brightly. Checking in? Yes, under Valdez, Jade replied, smirking. The premium couples package. Alexandra froze, finally seeing me behind the desk. The color drained from her face. Mark? What? You're supposed to be in Seattle. Funny thing about Seattle, I said, my voice steady. The weather's terrible this time of year. Jade recovered first, sliding an arm around Alexandra's waist. Well, this is awkward, but maybe it's the universe's way of bringing truth to light. Truth? I pulled out my phone. Like these truths? I played the surveillance video of Alexandra forging my signature. Her face crumpled. Or these truths. Screenshots of their messages filled the screen, their plans, the money transfers, the escape route. Mark, I can explain. Alexandra stepped forward. Explain what? The identity theft? The fraud? The $200,000 you stole? Jade's smirk vanished. You don't understand our connection. Alexandra's finally free to... To what? Be your next victim? Like the others in California? Colorado? Should I keep going? Baby, Alexandra whispered to Jade. What's he talking about? He's lying, Jade snapped. He's trying to control you with negative energy. Actually, Nancy stood up, approaching with her laptop. Everything's documented right here, including your outstanding warrants. You can't prove anything, Jade snarled, reaching for her purse. Step away from the bag, ma'am. Officer Zimmerman emerged, badge displayed. Hands where we can see them. Alexandra's legs gave out. She sank onto a lobby chair, tears streaming. Mark, please, I love you. Like you loved me last month, when you were emptying our accounts. More officers appeared. Michelle handed over the credit card Alexandra had just tried to use. My card. Alexandra White Valdez, Jade Ramirez, Zimmerman announced. You're under arrest for fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy. Jade tried to run. 2 officers caught her before she reached the door. As they read their rights, Alexandra looked at me one last time. I never meant... Save it for court, I said, watching as they led them both away. Neil appeared beside me, gripping my shoulder. You okay? I watched through the glass doors as they loaded Alexandra and Jade into separate police cars. The women who thought they could steal my life, my money, my dignity, now headed for jail. No, I answered honestly. But I will be. Because sometimes karma needs a little help from the criminal justice system. The police station interview room felt colder than the spa lobby. Alexandra sat across from me, her makeup streaked with tears, still wearing that flowing sundress. Officer Zimmerman stood in the corner, recording everything. Why? I asked simply. I didn't mean for it to happen, she whispered. Jade showed me a different way of seeing things. She made me feel alive. And the money. Was stealing from me part of feeling alive? She flinched. She said you were holding me back, that your energy was toxic, that we needed resources for our spiritual journey. $200,000 of spiritual journey. It wasn't just about the money. She reached for my hand. I pulled back. Don't. My voice cracked. Just... don't. The door opened. Nancy entered with a thick folder. Ready for this? Alexandra's eyes widened. Your sister? You went to her? Someone had to help him clean up your mess, Nancy said, spreading documents across the table. Shall we start with the forged signatures, or the identity theft? I want a lawyer, Alexandra said quickly. Smart move, Nancy replied. You'll need one. Jade's already trying to pin everything on you. What? Alexandra stood up. She wouldn't... Sit down, Zimmerman ordered. She's been talking for the last hour. Something about you being the mastermind? In the next room, through the one-way glass, Jade was gesturing wildly, pointing fingers, throwing Alexandra under every bus she could find. She's lying, Alexandra whispered. It was her idea. All of it. The offshore accounts? I asked. The passport renewal? The apartment in Bali? She crumpled. How did you... Next time you plan to rob someone blind, don't use their cloud storage for your escape plans. Nancy laid out more papers. We have statements from Jade's previous victims. Same pattern, same manipulation. But you're the first accomplice. I'm not an accomplice. I'm her... Mark? Michelle poked her head in. The fraud department needs your signature on some forms. Alexandra stared at the spa receptionist. You were in on this? Karma's a funny thing, Michelle said. Like when you book spa days with stolen credit cards. I stood up. I'll sign whatever they need. Mark, Please, Alexandra called after me. We can work this out. We can get counseling. I'll pay everything back. I turned at the door. With what money? The money you stole from me? Or the money you're planning to steal from your next victim? In the hallway, Neil waited with more documents. The bank's freezing all the accounts. They're pursuing full charges. Good. I signed where he pointed. Through the window, I could see Jade in handcuffs, still talking, still trying to save herself. In the other room, Alexandra had collapsed into sobs. Your sister's amazing, Neil said. The way she put all this together. She's sober now, clear-headed, sees things I missed. Officer Zimmerman joined us. We've got them dead to rights. The DA's pushing for maximum sentences. Identity theft, grand larceny, conspiracy. And Jade's other victims? Coming forward. Your case broke the dam. They're all filing charges. I watched Alexandra through the glass, remembering our first date, our wedding, the life we'd built, the life she'd destroyed for a con artist's promises. What happens now? Neil asked. Now? I pulled out my wedding ring. Now I take this off. I let the lawyers handle the divorce. And I rebuild. Mr. Valdez, a detective approached with more papers. We need to document the full extent of the theft. Every account, every charge. I nodded, following him to another room. Behind me, I could hear Alexandra crying, Jade arguing, the steady click of Nancy's heels as she delivered another stack of evidence. Some people think revenge is best served cold. I think it's best served with documentation, witnesses, and a really good legal team. The courtroom fell silent as Alexandra took the stand. 3 months had passed since the spa arrest, and now everything would be laid bare. Mrs. Valdez, the prosecutor began, please explain these bank transfers. Alexandra glanced at Jade, who sat stone-faced beside her lawyer. They were for spiritual guidance. $200,000 of spiritual guidance? Jade said the more we invested, the deeper our connection would be. And the forged signatures? Mark was always working. It was easier to just handle things myself. I felt Nancy squeeze my arm as the prosecutor displayed the evidence on the courtroom screen. Forged checks, falsified documents, surveillance footage from multiple banks. And these other transactions. The prosecutor pointed to a spreadsheet. The ones to accounts in Bali? Alexandra's composure cracked. That was Jade's idea. She said we needed an escape plan. Objection, Jade's lawyer stood. My client is not on trial for... Overruled, the judge interrupted. Continue. The prosecutor smiled. Tell us about the other victims, Mrs. Valdez. What other victims? The ones before Mr. Valdez. The ones Ms. Ramirez convinced you to help her find. Alexandra's face went white. I don't... Your email correspondence. More screenshots appeared. You helped identify wealthy targets at your yoga studio, provided personal information, suggested vulnerability points. Jade exploded from her seat. You promised you'd never tell. Order! The judge banged his gavel. While your husband worked, the prosecutor continued, you and Ms. Ramirez were planning similar schemes against 3 other couples, correct? Alexandra broke down. She said we needed more money for our future. She promised we'd be together. You lying bitch. Jade lunged forward. Officers rushed to restrain her. I loved you, Alexandra screamed back. You said you loved me. The courtroom erupted. Through the chaos, I watched my wife of 7 years dissolve into tears, while her lover was dragged from the room shouting threats. During recess, Neil found me in the hallway. You okay? I don't know what I am. Mr. Valdez? A woman approached us. I'm Janet. Jade took everything from my sister last year. Thank you for stopping them. More victims found me throughout the day. More stories, more lives destroyed. When the verdict came, it was unanimous. Guilty on all counts. Alexandra White Valdez, the judge announced. This court sentences you to 5 years for fraud and conspiracy. Ms. Ramirez, given your prior convictions and role as ringleader, you are sentenced to 12 years. Mark! Alexandra called out as they led her away. Please, I'm sorry. I stood, finally facing her. You know what the worst part is? Not the money, not even the affair. It's that you helped her destroy other people's lives. That's who you really are. No, I was confused. I can change. Save your manipulations for prison, Nancy said beside me. I hear they love spiritual gurus there. Outside the courthouse, reporters waited with cameras. Officer Zimmerman handled them while Nancy, Neil, and I slipped out the back. It's over, Neil said. Almost. I pulled out an envelope. Just need to mail these divorce papers. Nancy hugged me. You did good, little brother. You got justice. Not just for you, but for everyone they hurt. I watched the prison transport van drive away, taking with it my wife, her lover, and 7 years of lies. You know what Alexandra said to me once? I turned to Nancy. That karma always comes full circle. Well, she smiled. I guess she was right about that. Because sometimes karma wears a badge, carries handcuffs, and comes with a really long prison sentence. The divorce papers arrived signed. No contest, no claims. Alexandra had finally accepted reality. I sat in Neil's garage, where this had all started, holding the envelope from the prison. You going to open it? Neil asked, handing me a beer. It's her wedding ring. The guards made her surrender all personal items. How do you know? Because I sent mine back last week, with a note. Nancy appeared in the doorway. Which said what? Keep the crystals. I managed a small smile. Seemed fitting. My phone buzzed. Officer Zimmerman. Jade's other victims are filing a class action. They want you to testify. More dominoes falling, Nancy said, reading over my shoulder. You started something big, Mark. Speaking of big, Neil cleared his throat. Damien got fired today. What? Why? Remember those performance issues he kept harassing you about? Turns out he was covering his own mistakes, using your situation as a smokescreen. Karma's been busy, Nancy mused. My phone buzzed again. Michelle from the spa. You should see this. She'd sent a link to a wellness industry website. Jade's empire was crumbling, former clients coming forward, studios cutting ties. Alexandra's name appeared in every article as the accomplice who helped expose the scheme. The Singapore project launched perfectly, by the way, Neil said. They're promoting you to lead architect. Life has a way of sorting itself out, Nancy added. I pulled out Alexandra's final letter, delivered through her lawyer. I know sorry isn't enough. The truth is, I lost myself long before Jade. I forgot who I was, what we had. You deserved better. I'll spend my time here trying to understand why I betrayed the one person who always believed in me. Don't worry about forgiveness. I haven't earned it. You going to respond? Neil asked. Nothing left to say. Nancy picked up the envelope with Alexandra's ring. What are you going to do with this? Already done. I nodded toward the workbench where I'd set up my laptop. Just sold it online. The money's going to a fund for Jade's victims. Perfect. She hugged me. You know what this means? It's really over. Not quite. I pulled out my phone, showing them an email from Janet, the sister of one of Jade's victims. She'd started a support group. They wanted me to speak. You should do it, Neil said. Help others spot the signs. Already agreed. Next week. My phone lit up one last time. A message from Alexandra's cousin Camila. I should have told you what I saw. I'm sorry. I typed back. We all have to live with our choices. The garage door hummed open to a perfect evening. Somewhere in prison, Alexandra was starting her first year of 5. Jade was beginning her 12. Their victims were healing. Justice had been served. Stay for dinner? Neil asked. Sarah's cooking that pasta you like. Actually, I stood up. I think I'll head home. Been avoiding it long enough. Want company? Nancy offered. No, it's time I faced it alone. They understood. Some battles you have to fight by yourself. At home, I walked through each room. Our photos were gone. Her crystals donated. The air felt cleaner somehow. In the kitchen, I found her last note on the fridge. Focus on your spiritual work. You deserve this time. She'd been right about that part. I did deserve this time. Time to rebuild. Time to heal. Time to remember who I was before someone tried to break me. I took down the note and smiled. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just exposing the truth. It's living well after the truth is exposed.